But anyway, we were at the top of the 9 o'clock hour, folks. That's where, if people are flipping by, and maybe if I stall long enough, we'll get the ratings. It's still so early in the day, I don't know if we'll get that. But where you think people are flipping by or changing channel or ending a previous program, you want to put the star power out. We talk about the top of the hour on Raw or SmackDown every week. Well, the top of the hour at 9 o'clock that they decided to show us was Jay Switchblade White versus Komander. And an unknown guy that's only just debuted in the company, 2 weeks ago or whatever, last week, against, for all intents and visual purposes, a Mexican mini. I don't know if this guy is Russian, Hispanic, Chinese, or Indonesian, but he's dressed like a luchador, and he's 5'3" and is introduced at 160 pounds. And Jay White, again, I watched this match because I wanted to see what all the fuss is about. Everybody, Jay White. It was a big deal to a lot of the AEW fans. They signed him. So I'm okay.
It was a great idea for him to sell for this guy for the whole fucking match.
Well, that's what I wanted to, here's the first match that this new star that they've signed, this hot free agent. So what makes him a star? What am I supposed to care about? What does he do? How does he conduct himself? Whatever. Well, what I saw was a guy getting his ass kicked by a kid in a mask. Or sometimes he turned into a guy standing around waiting to catch a cheerleader in a vaulting routine. He's in shape, Jay White I'm talking about. He looks athletic. He's got a nice visual look. His wrestling, his shit didn't look bad. His offense, but every time he had to cooperate with the aggressive parkour, or the fact that for the majority of this match, I was watching this dwarf kick the shit out of this guy. There was nothing done to get Jay White over as a star here, or to even tell you that he was supposed to be a star, except the announcer saying it while he was getting his ass kicked by an unknown midget. And the big spot in the match they built to was the jobber doing the tightrope walk. What am I lying about?
Just the way you run through it, it's amazing.
He got... Komander got two big false finishes, two big 2 counts, then got a submission hold on him, like a standing octopus. And then, okay, it's time to go home. Jay White just grabbed him and hit what I assume is his finish twice. Hit him with it once, pick him up, hit him with it again. And pinned him by the skin of his teeth. And what the fuck kind of debut is that for a guy that's allegedly going to be, okay, I can see him now, being competitive with El Fuego del Sol, or, any of the other guys they have on the roster that are 150 pounds or less. Well, except for Darby Allin. Darby Allin probably kicked the shit out of this guy. Because what in the world kind of debut is? And then Juice Robinson's in his corner. And somehow, here's a name from the distant past, Shawn Spears is shown numerous times in the front row watching this match. For what reason, I'm still in the dark about. And they just go out and pull Shawn Spears over the rail, and the heels beat him up barely. Until here comes Ricky Starks, and he hits and makes the save. So the Bullet Club, Jay White and Juice Robinson, they debut together. Jay White has a match. He barely beats a dwarf. He does an angle with Shawn Spears, and then they get run off by one fucking guy. This guy looks like a fucking threat to any championship to me. What about you, Brian?
We saw Komander, I think, last week. Because we saw a lot of these tightrope act. I remember you and I talking about it. We saw a lot of this stuff. And on its own, in a vacuum, in a fucking big top, whatever, it's impressive. But when you've seen it now 2 weeks in a row, And you can tell this guy needs to get his balance. And he's the one spot, I mean, now people have isolated it, where he has Jay White's arm and he's just jumping from the middle rope to the top rope to the middle rope to the top rope. Yes. Why doesn't Jay White yank this motherfucker off the rope? Jay White just stands there and lets this happen. Jay White could have yanked him at any time.
He's standing there transfixed by the scene unfolding in front of him, forgetting that the guy's got a hold of his fucking arm.
I thought when this match started, because we saw Komander and we saw what his routine is last week, what an interesting way Tony's going to get Jay White over on his debut here. He's coming out there. Oh, he has Juice Robinson with him. All right, even better. This Moondog is going to cheat to help the heel beat the really small guy. Okay, that works. They established who he was last week. They just have to screw him out of one of those tightrope spots and people will start booing, and then you beat him. And then it got competitive. Not even competitive. Jay White sold the whole match as a heel. I think he's a heel. As a heel, with another heel at ringside in his corner. He just let this guy run circles around him until the very end. Sean Spears and Juice Robinson. Again, I don't know. They bring in people in the weirdest ways. They bring in people and then immediately mix them with, at least I think, the wrong people to get the audience interested in. I don't know what they're doing with this.
Who are we pushing? Is a common thing that I would scream back in the Ring of Honor days, and it's gotten worse.
You know what's crazy? This show has not been very good, and that is another Gardner going in the background, a whole unique, different crew. But up until this point, this is how the booking has treated him. I hadn't even thought about Ricky Starks. Where's Ricky Starks? When's he going to come out there? It surprised me when his music hit. Oh shit, Ricky Starks works here.
Well, he got beat up last week. But see, how many people got beat up last week? People get beat up in every segment.
Yeah. On this episode especially.